What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim back with another quick video, and I wanted to show you guys the big news that came out. Marvel's Spider-Man swings to PlayStation 4 with a new launch date, September 7th, and it includes both a collector's and a digital deluxe edition. As you guys know, I am a huge fan of collector editions, so I have already got this bad boy on pre-order. I wanted to show you guys the news on the PlayStation blog where you could see and they talk about some of the inspiration for game covers. They talk about the Spidey suit and this very controversial Spider-Man suit with the white Spider-Man. You'll see nods to some of these other famous comic book writers: J. Scott Campbell, Mark Bagley, Tony Romita Sr. and Jr., Joe Quesada, and of course Steve Ditko, as well as many other artists. That seems to be the talking point of this collector edition, but there's something else that I find a lot more interesting, and I'm going to jump over to that. Let's dive into the contents. This is going to run you $150 US. I will be getting it on launch, so check back with my channel on September 7th or 8th when I get around to actually unboxing it. But let's see what $150 gets you from this PlayStation exclusive game. The Spider-Man Collector Edition includes the Spider-Man: The City That Never Sleeps, which is a DLC that you'll receive by March of 2019. It includes a 3 post-launch story chapter, which includes missions, suits, and characters. We also get a white Spider-Man sticker, a Marvel statue, which I'll skip briefly. I'll come back to that in a minute. A Steelbook, including the PS4 game, a mini art book, and then you get some pre-order digital stuff, which I suspect is probably also in parallel with the digital collector's edition pre-order. That includes a Spidey suit pack, which has 3 different variants of Spider-Man. This first one looks to be wearing a leather jacket with almost like a mohawk. It's kind of interesting, like punk Spider-Man. 2 other ones with question marks. We don't know what those are quite yet. You also get a spider drone gadget. I'm not sure what that is. It must be some in-game item that you use. Maybe you always have a gadget that is a drone, but this particular one looks like Spider-Man. Maybe it's a skin thing. I'm not entirely sure. Also receive the PSN avatar, theme, and extra skill points to be used on your character in the game, which is interesting because up until now we haven't really heard a lot about the gameplay arc. If there's skill points involved, that would indicate there's some experience and some level of customization for your character, which I am particularly intrigued about. However, the thing I want to talk about the most is this right here, the Marvel Spider-Man statue, which features the Spider-Man character on a box. And when I first saw this, I thought, why is this? This looks weird. This looks like some sort of concrete pillar that he's on. And then I'm like seeing it say revealing summer 2018. No, this is not a banner of a pillar or any kind of construction piece made by Raft, which I'm not even sure what that means. Maybe more Spider-Man fans could explain that to me. They're actually saying inside, if we jump back quickly to the blog article, that they're not going to reveal the base quite yet. Pay special attention to the statue and you'll notice something is obviously missing. We haven't revealed the entire statue for the collector's edition, just Spider-Man perched on top of something. What could it be? It's too spoilery to show you now, but stay tuned. So obviously whatever this is pretty big of a deal. I don't know if this is indicative, this little piece here underneath Spider-Man, if that's indicative of the statue or that's just a base that may be replaced later. Looks like he's grabbing onto something with a fist clench, so maybe he's going to punch it soon. I'm not entirely sure. This is interesting for collector editions. I can't recall the last time we were expected to invest in something without seeing the entire physical piece of it completed. A lot of times with DLC, you totally say and totally get DLC that says, well, we don't know what it's going to be quite yet. You're going to get the next 3 DLCs, next 5 DLCs, a season pass, which contains more digital content. I've never seen this. This is a very bold move by the guys over here to kind of basically say, hey, you're investing a premium price for this collector edition, $150. Most collector editions run anywhere from the $120 to the $140 range. $150 is getting on the high end. Now, could be because of licensing. It could be because they feel like this is going to be the next big game and they can just demand that sort of price point. But to not show the statue is very intriguing. I'm curious to see what that is. And more importantly, I'm curious to see exactly when that is going to be revealed and when it isn't too spoilery for us to see. I suspect you're going to have to wait until E3 when they give a much more proper reveal for this game to see exactly what he's perching on that is so spoilery. It may tie into one of these other pre-order contents, and we'll have to wait and see on that. Lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the actual Spider-Man emblem. That's something that particularly I think is very cool and unique. You know, I played a lot of the Spider-Man games growing up, as I'm sure many of you did, and with more of a traditional-looking Spider-Man costume, I appreciate the fact that on this game they're making it their own. The fact that you don't see this white spider really anywhere. They said it's sort of symbolic in the game. It will make sense when you play through it. But a lot of people are very adamantly against it, like my friend Brent. And I asked him, I said, you know, you're a comic book guy, and I will post a link to his channel in the description below. He is a much, much better source of comic book news and knowledge than I will ever be. But I asked him, I said, hey, Brent, you know, talk to me a little bit about Spider-Man and, like, why is the white costume so offensive to you? And other than just kind of opinion, he feels that it, you know, it doesn't really go with a lot of the themes that you see in some of the, not themes, a lot of the art styles that other Spider-Man artists have done, notably Alex Ross, some of the work that he's done. I'm looking at that picture now. Also, Superior Spider-Man, the Ben Reilly Spider-Man, and the Iron Man Spider-Man, which I guess at some point Tony Stark made a Spider-Man suit. None of those use this white figure, so very iconic. I don't know how polarizing this truly is to us video game nerds over Brent and the comic book nerds. I'm excited. It's not stopping me from getting the game. It actually makes me more intrigued as to see why is this so different than other costumes we have seen in the past. But there you have it. Maybe we can convince Brent to do a little better job explaining it in a YouTube video for us. So if you want to see him, you know, head on over to his channel, follow him up on Twitter, and ask him, hey, man, what's your beef with White Spider-Man? But for all collector edition news and all the great stuff that I'm going to be talking about, tune back into my channel, especially on or around September 7th when I get this in my hot little hands. We can take a look at the final statue together and kind of dig apart through the collector edition to see if the quality is as good as I hope it will to be. As always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Get out there and support your favorite superhero alternative reality costume. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.